Week 4 is in the bag, boys, and what a week it was once again. We had the inaugural Toy Story game, which proved that the Falcons could still eat a dick in digitized version because they look just as bad playing as Toy Story characters as they do in real life. Do you know who else really sucked? The Bengals. The Bengals really sucked. I actually can't believe that this is the Joe Burrow that we're watching. If I was the Bengals, I'd be asking for a fucking refund at this point into the season. But can you believe it? The thing that got me the most excited, and I think you know what's coming, Zach Wilson. Zach, the Super Soaker Wilson, was the first ever quarterback to outplay Patrick Mahomes in quarterback rating. He has never been outplayed. All through college, all through the pros. The Super Soaker, Zach Wilson, Mama Kelsey must have made quite the impression, boys. And here we are.
But Jets still lost.
The Jets did still lose. But you know what? Do you know what? I am hopeful that we won't need Nick Foles. And that's it, boys. How pumped were you to watch this week?
They covered the line.
They did cover the line. In fact, that helped you, right? Because our bet was probably going to tank again. And then the Jets. The Jets couldn't get it done.
Yeah, well, right in Kansas City, we'd had the money spent, Mitch's multi. We were 4 for 4 going into that, and that was the most confident of the 5 legs.
It was as cheap as $1.11 as well.
They led the whole way, but they didn't look that much better than the Jets really at any point, and the margin just kept getting closer and closer and closer.
Well, the first quarter was a 17-0, and we thought, oh, here they go, 50 points on them, 60 points. And they wanted to target Kelsey because his little girlfriend was in the stands, and 2 picks back-to-back nearly.
Don't forget about the gifted safety to kick it all off.
Oh, yeah, the face mask at the one, because they want to complain about the PI, but they won't talk about that.
I did talk about that, though, and the reality is that we did talk about that. Like, we got gifted 2 calls in that game, but the Chiefs got gifted about 8 or 9. The thing that annoyed me about the PI was, when did the flag get thrown?
Yeah, at the very end, when everyone was celebrating.
It was after the interception. The flag. It wasn't even like he had the flag in his hand, and he's like, "I'm going to throw this." He waited, and it was probably like, I don't know.
Roger gave him a call. Yep, he needs this win. Paddy needs a win.
Fix was in.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the reality was the Jets probably should have won that game. I don't think it's just officiating. Zach Wilson still made one mistake, but he looked pretty good, and I mean, he actually got me feeling pretty excited. I haven't been that excited about Zach Wilson since his very first game as a New York Jet, because it's pretty much been all downhill from there. But this is great. He let it rip, and he looked good.
Do we think it's a Aaron Rodgers halftime speech? Because it seemed like after the half, switched a bit.
No, man. We after the safety thing switched up. So before the half ended, we actually had a really good couple of drives. There was a field goal drive, and then there was a touchdown drive, and then there was the missed field goal drive. So actually, I don't think it was that. But I definitely think that having Aaron Rodgers there, supporting him, made a big difference.
Jets were the better team other than the first drive each, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about our teams, Mitch, what do you think about your New England Patriots in Jerry World?
The less said, the better. It was an awful performance in every phase. Like, what do you say? Like, that's probably as uncompetitive a Patriots performance as I've ever seen.
Isn't that the worst Patriots performance of the Bill Belichick era?
Yeah, it'd be
35-point loss is the biggest loss.
Yeah, I think it was too. It probably should have been more.
Yeah.
The way the game went. Like, Dallas pulled up stumps a bit at the end. Like, there's no point winning the same game twice.
So Dallas at home, humiliated, you're next.
Oh. What happened with the Cardinals?
We went at home for that game.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Going to be balls going to Frisco or Philly at the end of the year, isn't it?
It doesn't matter until the divisional. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what does Bill Belichick do at this point? I mean, he benched Mac Jones for Bailey Zappi, right?
In the third quarter,
What's really the difference, though? Like,
well, there wasn't.
Yeah.
Less turnovers.
And last year,
same amount of points.
Last year, there was not a lot of difference either. Like, Mac Jones isn't very good, but it's not really his fault that the Patriots aren't very good. They don't have a very good squad overall, and now their best 2 defensive players, Matthew Judon's clearly their best player.
Oh, yeah.
Out for at least 2 months, you'd say, torn bicep.
I mean, Judon is one of the best at his position, not just in the Patriots.
Yeah,
so
all pro last year. Yeah, and the young cornerback, like they're in a world of pain. Like they could be a 4 or 5 win team.
You love to see it.
they'll definitely come fourth in the AFC East.
A lot of humiliation.
Well, I don't know.
And then the next day we saw the Seahawks and that O-line from the Giants. I don't know what can you say to that. That was disgusting. Like you got to give prompts to the Seahawks. They had a great defense, but still, my goodness.
Do you know what's crazy about that too is that they paid Darren Waller so much money
They
just
don't
for him
target
to try
him.
and block.
2 targets.
Well, they 2 targets. That's because he was blocking
The whole time.
You don't pay him that kind of money to chip block because your O-line is that shit. You pay your O-line to block.
Yeah.
You got a target like that, big guy, fast guy. Started his journey as a wide receiver. He wasn't a tight end straight out of
He's a good
college.
player.
Great player. You pay him all this money so he can try and chip block because you can't give Daniel Jones enough time. And Daniel Jones doesn't look like the Daniel Jones of last year. He's copying a lot of shit. But is that just because he's crap or is it because of the O-line? I would argue it's the O-line.
Yeah, Saquon opens up or makes the O-line
too.
a little bit less important because he can run. Yeah, I mean, find seams easier, but
Well,
yeah,
Daniel Jones
they've-
had the most rushing yards for the Giants. He just half the time he looks at the pocket within a second and just runs.
Man,
it up.
I felt so sorry for him. He looked like he was going to get killed for the entire game, basically.
He did.
He didn't play well, but like,
I'm pretty
what's
sure
he supposed to do? Like,
in a set that the Seahawks had a sack on first down, second down, and third down within like a second and a half, like of the ball getting sacked. So
It was
like,
11 sacks total, right?
yeah, and like
10.
25 pressures or something, but it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess the Giants suck this year.
the New York teams were good last year. Who knows about this year?
Well, I mean, one New York team kind of shat itself toward the end last year, so I don't know about New York teams were good. But, they definitely looked better last year.
Cincinnati
than
also
this year.
may suck as well. I mean, I did not see a 27-3 scoreline,
Man,
courtesy of Tennessee.
At
That's
1
crazy.
and 3, you've got to ask yourself how much of a shot they actually have at the playoffs this year. I know that any team can turn it around, but if I am the head coach or I'm the GM, I'm thinking to myself, okay, we've just made this a massive investment in Joe Burrow. He's clearly not healthy yet. I understand the guy's a competitor, but so that you don't, I don't know, fuck up your entire investment, put him on the bench, let him get better.
Yeah, shut him down until he's better.
Just put his ass on the bench. Like it's at this point, 1 and 3, very, very hard to climb back. AFC in general looks very competitive.
North especially.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, definitely. I don't think they're a chance of winning the North at this point in time. But are they a chance of even making like the 7th seed? Probably not.
Well, they
because
have
of the
3
amount
of their
competition.
3 losses. It's the AFC, 2 in the division and 1 with the Titans in the conference. So
There
you
you
already
go.
have 3
and,
conference losses.
Baltimore are 2-0 or 3-0
Yeah.
in the
Who'd
division.
they
So
beat?
it's a massive lead for them.
It was someone rubbish, like Cardinals, I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, there you go.
Look
so
it
they,
up.
beat- they
No,
beat,
they played the Cardinals this week. It was...
LA.
yeah, it was in one of the Monday night games
Yeah.
last week.
That's
yeah.
right.
Very
that's right.
ugly.
And it was an
Yeah.
ugly win. It
Terrible.
was a very ugly win. So at this point, I think you shut him down and let him ride the bench for a little bit. Let him get better. What's the point in throwing him out there if he gets really injured? We've seen this happen with quarterbacks so many times. You know,
Andrew Luck.
Andrew Luck's a really good example. You know, if you can't protect the quarterback and he keeps getting injured, what does he want to play
Retire
for?
early.
Retire early, exactly.
They get tampered with a few years later.
and then a few years after that, turn up looking like a pirate on the sideline. And what was he dressed as, a commander?
What was that all about?
I don't know. I just think he's a huge nerd. I think he's a huge nerd. I think he just turned up looking like a fucking.
Captain Morgan.
Oh no, man, no, not Captain Morgan. What was that from The Simpsons? Jebediah Springfield.
Oh my
That's what he
god!
looked like. He looked like Jebediah Springfield, except without the syphilis.
Just on the Bengals, I think. So they play the Cardinals and Seattle in the next 2 weeks. The Seattle game at home, and they've got a bye off the back of that. And then
Yeah.
they travel to San Francisco. They've got an opportunity if they can win in Arizona and win at home against the Seahawks that they could have a week off and then not travel him to Frisco and just give up the game where they're probably going to lose anyway and give him a 3-week break into the Bills game, which will be huge. If they can win those the next 2, they'll stay afloat.
Yeah,
Something's going to happen to Lamar Jackson, like it
You think?
always does.
yeah. I don't
Last
know.
4 years it's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem is the Browns don't look as bad this year.
Yeah, although
And
the
obviously-
quarterback didn't bother to play this week.
Yeah, I know. That's a bit.
I missed that game. Did he not play?
No.
He was apparently a healthy scratch. So the medical team said he could play, and then he's just like, I don't feel great.
feel
100%
well.
I'm not playing.
Oh man.
Yeah, but this is the Sean
Maybe he had
Watson.
COVID like you, Matt.
Maybe he needed maybe he just needed
Amari
a massage.
Cooper clearly had COVID, 1 fucking point in
We
fantasy.
just needed a massage. It's been a while.
That's
A little bit of a rub and tug.
Tune up.
Yeah, tune up indeed.
too long, or maybe it was too long. That was the issue.
Well, anyway, we're starting to get into opinion territory. So why don't we get into our 4 downs, the segment where we get to bring something to discuss, an opinion of ours, something that's got us fired up. Who wants to kick things off this week, boys?
I'll go first. I'm going to go positive.
Wow.
Last week, it was I actually had my down about Cincinnati in massive trouble, particularly offensively. We may be finding the answer, and we'll certainly know it if they lose to Arizona this week. This week, the flip side is, are the Texans actually good?
Yeah.
Ooh, CJ Stroud.
20-point win against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. Absolutely boat race Pittsburgh this week. Wasn't even competitive. Really on the improve. Like, they've only conceded 2 touchdowns in the last 9 quarters as well. CJ Stroud hasn't yet thrown an interception.
Yeah, no picks yet. Most amount of completions without a pick, I believe, to start a career.
Wow.
Yeah, that is true. And a schedule coming up, like Atlanta, New Orleans, Carolina, the next 3 weeks. Like,
Very winnable.
Very winnable. Like, they got a lot of games against teams that are not locked in playoff contenders. Tampa, Bengals at the moment, Arizona, Jets with their quarterback issues, Cleveland,
Thanks.
whose quarterback may not play, Tennessee. Like, there's no nailed on guaranteed playoff teams. They don't play Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, Philly, Dallas, San Fran. Like, they've got a pretty easy schedule because they stank last year. But they could be a 500 team the way they're playing or more.
Yeah. Their entire division are all locked up at 500 at the moment, aren't
all
they?
2-2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Jacksonville are probably better than Houston, but there's been a month already and they're not.
Yeah,
They got beat by them last week.
Bit shaky, aren't they?
Yeah, but I just think, I'm a big believer in CJ Stroud. I said this last week. He looks better than I think. Like, he's a top 10 quarterback at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? He looks better than any other rookie quarterback this year. Bryce Young does not look like he should. He looks like he needs to sit. He's having a tough time. But Anthony Richardson's looking okay. But
Were they the only 3 quarterbacks to go in the first round in the draft?
Yeah, this year.
Because Will Levis fell out of the
Will Levis
second,
fell out
didn't
into
he?
the second, and he just looks like a hot mess. But no, CJ Stroud looks like a legitimate top 10 quarterback, and he's already a leader of that team. And I think that's what makes the biggest difference. He's commanding that locker room. He said something in his press conference. Was it this week with his past win? He's like, the Texans fans deserve wins. And, he wasn't saying something just to say it. You could see it in his eyes. Like, this kid's got fire. He's got moxie, and he's out there to genuinely win games. When's the last time the Texans could be really this proud of their franchise? It's been a while.
I think, but if you go back to the last time they had essentially a rookie head coach and a rookie quarterback that was highly rated out of college, they had Watson and O'Brien, and they were a good team for a couple of years.
They were.
Yeah, like it could be repeating itself, and it's a division that just
Hope so.
honestly, since the Peyton Manning Colts era, it's just up
It's
and
right for
down.
the taking.
Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
they could be good. They really could be.
Yeah, a kid might have a chip on his shoulder. I don't know if you guys remember, leading up to the draft, all the quarterbacks are doing this quick thinking aptitude test, and Stroud tested really poorly in that, and there was a lot of media outcry around all that. And
Yeah.
look, the kid went second overall.
Second.
It's pretty high, but
Well,
yeah, he has something to prove because everyone's talking about Bryce Young because first overall. Everyone's talking about Anthony Richardson because he's just this raw talent from Florida.
athletic freak.
Everyone's talking about Will Levis because he eats bananas, including the skin, and drinks mayonnaise. No one was talking about CJ Stroud. Just kind of got forgotten about.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
Welcome to the league, CJ. Pretty fucking stellar start.
He's been awesome.
But no, Mitch, you're right, man. They're definitely not tanking for Caleb. They don't need to tank for no one, obviously. They just drafted a quarterback, obviously. But everyone kind of pegged them as it's either going to be them. Well, last year it was just Arizona, Houston. We were arguing who has the worst list. And they're making do with Nico Collins. They're I don't know who else the fuck they have, but
Yeah, well, this is
they're
the thing,
making
though.
do with
This
what
is
they
the
have.
thing, though. They don't have any other talent that makes you say. Good example is, did anyone draft a Texans player onto their fantasy team this year?
No, I wouldn't have even considered it.
No, exactly right. But take a look at what's happening in the league. Nico Collins right now, I think, is like the 7th or 8th fantasy wide receiver. Right?
Waiver wire.
Yeah, and nobody has a clue who this guy is 4 weeks ago, and now suddenly he's an exciting young wide receiver. How much of that do you put on CJ Stroud? How much of that do you put on D'Amico Ryans? Because that guy has turned this franchise around.
You would, like, at this stage, most people would have expected the Texans to be 0-4.
I think I did.
They're a really impressive 2-2.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, before the season started, I went and did like a big multi on all the division winners, and unfortunately, the Jets were involved, so clearly I've wasted all my money because that's not going to happen now. But, Jacksonville was paying like $1.10 to win the division.
Well, they're that short.
Yeah, it was that short because no one expected anyone else in that division to do anything. Now, it's a completely different story 4 weeks into the season. I mean, obviously, I know it's tight across the whole division there, but fuck me. Look at how good these Texans are.
Even that now, like, I still think Jacksonville will finish ahead of them in the South, but there's more scope for wild cards in the AFC than what there were because of injury and because of form. The Jets and Cincinnati probably are going to go worse than what people thought they would at the start before the start.
Absolutely.
So there's two teams that were nailed on playoff teams that are in trouble from a playoff perspective at this stage.
Yep, and now suddenly the field's opened up. Yep. So, good on them. I love to see it. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, I'll talk about the Seahawks-Giants game. I know we previewed them last week, but I do want to talk about the match. I mean, why were these two teams playing prime time? These are two playoff teams, in case anyone forgot. It's the 6 and 7 seed from last year. Coach of the year, Brian Daboll, comeback player of the year, and Geno Smith. And my God, it didn't look like it would be what everyone thought it would be, a close contest between the 6th and 7th seed against a Giants team that absolutely boat raced the Minnesota Vikings in a playoff game. The Giants are a shadow of their former selves. Like, I obviously a Seahawks fan. I thought we played incredibly well, but to get like 10 sacks on the day with broadly like a 4-man rush for most of the second half was pretty fucking embarrassing. From a Giants O-line perspective, it was non-existent. The Giants D-line, no pressure on Geno, and there was like he got hit while he was falling out of bounds, and aside from that, there was really no pressure on him. Thibodeau was the only one who was actually playing fairly decently. He had 2 sacks. One was in garbage time, but he almost got a pick 6 actually against Drew Lock, but otherwise that defense was just abysmal. They're in real trouble, and I bring this up. I just want to talk about the Giants in the offseason. There was so much talk around the Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley situation. Who gets franchise tagged? Who gets the big payday? Are we ready to conclude they made a monumental fuck up in paying Daniel Jones $40 million a year?
No.
No?
No. Main reason is the guy is getting chased for his entire life. Like, if you can't protect... I think the monumental fuck up is that maybe they overspent a little bit and should have spent more on their O-line. But, I mean...
A lot more.
How can you... Yeah, a lot more. How can you judge it when the guy has got... Like, I think it's record lows in terms of seconds to get the ball off before he was sacked. We're talking some plays were just over 1 second before he had to bail out, before his pocket collapsed. That's crazy. That's like 5 fat fucks up front just deciding to jump on their back like a fucking puppy dog. That's what that was.
Well, we've been saying that the whole second half was a 4-man rush by the Seahawks, and they were still getting there. There was no blitzers. They didn't have to blitz, and they were still getting through.
Yeah. Yep.
But even, I was going to say, what's even more embarrassing, so the score was 24-3, correct?
Yep.
Week 1 against Dallas was 40-0. They've conceded 64-3 at home at MetLife. They've only scored 3 points at MetLife, which is the lowest any team has ever had at home in 2 games.
And
Their
also,
starts.
they're exactly their starts. Their first halves to date, they've scored 9 points. Cumulatively across their first halves have been terrible.
That's pretty...
And the bulk of their points probably the whole season has just come from the second half of the Arizona game where they had the miraculous comeback win.
Yeah.
Against a poor team.
Against a poor team. Exactly. Yeah.
They're in massive trouble.
But would you? I mean, just back to the point about Jones and the payday. Like, would you? He had one good season last year, and I think again, Coach of the Year Brian Daboll. How much he put that on the coach versus the quarterback, and what would you not just franchise tag him, right? See how he goes under the franchise tag, and if he actually proves himself over like a significant sample size, then you pay the guy.
Then you let Saquon walk, really?
And then you upgrade, as you said, you actually save yourself bits of upgrade in areas you need to upgrade.
But I don't think they could franchise tag him because they needed to keep Saquon. So you can't have both.
They have to do both.
Or pay, but it's the thing, it's either or. Like, why would you not just tag Jones, pay Saquon something?
Where's Saquon?
They didn't want to pay him.
Hang on a second. Where's Saquon now?
Oh, he's injured.
Yeah, exactly. So why did you choose to pay Daniel Jones and not Saquon?
2020,
Daniel Jones is less likely to get injured. Clearly, Saquon's injured again.
Yeah,
I think ideally they made a rod for their own back by going well last year. They should have ridden it out, but then they wouldn't have got Daboll, gone with what they had 2 years ago, coaching and quarterback wise. Jones would have struggled last year. They would have ended up with a Stroud, a Young. He may not be the answer anyway. Who knows? A Richardson. They would have been a top 5 draft team last year. They went too well last year. In reality, it's not that well. If you include the playoffs, where they'd go like 11-8 or something in the whole year. They're not very good. They probably you can't pay a running back. But Saquon's always injured. Now. Like they overpaid Jones, but fortunately they did it for 2 years. They're at the point now where you go, do I punt it and have a go in the Caleb sweepstakes? I think that because they could probably afford a first year contract with a high end draft pick this year and the last year of Jones's deal, or you just trade it away for nothing. Who gives a shit? But they're at the crossroads. They've got to make a decision. At the next 10 years of their franchise depends on the next 8 weeks, I think.
For the Giants, I think it's exactly like MetLife's field. You got to tear it all up. I think you tank. No, honestly, I think what the best thing is for the Giants, I reckon they tank. You try and trade this 2nd, 3rd, 4th overall, whatever they tank for. You keep Dan Jones and you need to build around him. You've already trusted him. You've seen him for 3-4 years. Get some O-line pieces. Get some wide receivers because we're even saying Darren Waller they paid. He was shocking. Who was a wide receiver they paid a couple of years ago what was his name? He's a free agent probably now. 2 years ago, they paid a wide receiver and he didn't get any catches. He plays in
Golladay.
Yes, Kenny Golladay. Yeah.
A Lions wide receiver 1, which was probably like a top 5 wide receiver 3-4 years ago. Where's he now?
The question is whether or not you trust the front office to make the right decisions.
Well, I think they did make it the drafting of Jones and Barkley is not the issue, but since they changed the front office, 3 years ago, they haven't this year's draft, whatever, and Kayvon Thibodeau, he's probably overdrafted a bit, but he's all right.
Oh, he's good. He had a good game, actually.
Yeah, he's decent, but like a number 5 overall draft pick, I'm not quite sure. Wan'Dale Robinson looks okay as a number 2 receiver, maybe. But they haven't nailed a draft pick for 3 years, and the Andrew Thomas one, like their O-line picks are just fucked. Like that's why they're in trouble.
Yeah. It's it is interesting. So I guess the question is, how screwed are the New York Giants, and should they blow the whole thing up? Now, if I'm the Giants, I'm probably wondering who would. The first thing I would ask myself is who would take Daniel Jones.
Does it matter if you got to ride with him for the rest of this year? So 40 of the 80 million you're paying, you might as well use.
How long was the contract, Matt?
4 years.
4 years, so another 3 years after this.
No, I thought it was only 2, wasn't it?
No, it's a 4-year contract.
Yeah. Oh, they are in massive. I thought they only paid him 2 years, 80 mil.
Fact-checking.
A fact checker, but I'm pretty sure it's a 4-year agreement. Maybe it's
4 years.
4 years. How much guaranteed money?
50.
Would you like to?
And that's 460 with 82 guaranteed.
82 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I mean, who is going to take that really? Like, you know, he's salary dump, but he's not a good enough quarterback to get $40 million a year. He's proven at times a competent starter.
Let me ask you: Do you do a flipsies between him?
Joneses.
Who's the other Jones?
Mac Chandler.
No, it's not going to be Chandler Jones. Oh God, that guy! Someone send Chandler Jones help. Somebody call him up. Go to his
It's sad,
fucking
man.
wherever he is. Give him a little bit of a hug. Maybe Deshaun can send one of his little rub and tuggers in to give him a bit of a hand because it's not looking good for him at the moment. That is sad. But I was going to say, do you flip him for Kyler Murray? You know, change the scenery for both quarterbacks. Kyler Murray on a very similarly bad contract.
Kyler Murray's fucking way better than him, man. Like,
Well, they're both
but
shocking
he doesn't.
timelines.
It's clear he doesn't want to play for the Cardinals. He's still on the physically unable to perform list. There's grumblings that it's you know he's not really injured anymore. So what in the fuck do you do? Like you don't keep him.
they still need to
You've
tank
gotta
for
get rid
high-end
of him.
O-linemen, but if you're going to get a quarterback that needs more time, although Kyler can create more time for himself through his feet, like their O-line is potentially historically bad.
Yeah, but you still. I still think you can make those moves. Like I think Kyler Murray is more of a distraction than Daniel Jones. So you might even be able to collect a little bit of collateral for him in return for Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is the more proven commodity out of the two of them. Kyler Murray, albeit more talented. Daniel Jones, recency bias. I don't know.
I think with Kyler, but he's still young enough to be a long-term solution. Like the Giants have got to the Giants have got to look past the next 3 years. Like you can't have an O-line that they have and a quarterback that can't really move in a conference, even in a division that's got Philadelphia and Dallas as pass rush, but a conference that's got San Francisco. Like they can't possibly finish any higher than fourth in the conference if everything else went right for the next 5 years. Seattle just minced them, and they're at best the fourth best team in the NFC.
True.
I think they're good, but they're nowhere near Philly, Dallas, and Frisco. Like,
Yeah.
They got to look for a long-term solution.
Yeah. Well, I suppose for now, the solution they have is what they've got, and they're kind of fucked
Ride it
anyway.
out.
Let's just see what happens. Let's see. Well, I mean, week 8. Let's see. We've got 4 weeks till trade deadline. So do they make some moves? Is the season salvageable? I guess we'll find out. Ivanka?
So from arguably the worst to probably arguably the GOAT. So my 4 down is Bill Belichick. So let's wind yourselves back probably around 10 months. The greatest of all time, Tom Brady, loses his first game to Dallas, calls it quits. Bill Belichick now has clocked his heaviest defeat ever. He was a Browns coach. He didn't even cop a loss like this before. Dallas comes, Swanson doesn't even score a touchdown, just a field goal. Now, is the debate more obvious that it was more Brady than Belichick, and should Belichick just say, fuck it, I need to retire?
I love that this down has nothing to do with Dallas, yet you still bring up
it's
Dallas.
all Dallas.
Well,
all Dallas.
it's his biggest loss, and then you have to think about it. If you can't do it with Mac Jones, how much did Brady really help? I know it's a system, and obviously he had pieces like Gronk and Edelman next to him, but still.
Yeah, but hang on a second. You've got to ask yourself, was it Brady? Was it Belichick?
That's the headline there.
Or was it Josh McDaniels? On a serious note, because I know Josh McDaniels is not doing that great in
The
in
relationship
Raiderland,
he had with
but-
Brady,
but
it's
him
the
and-
Josh Brady
That's
double.
what I think.
And Belichick's a incredible defensive and special teams coach. Like his pawn is the 13-3 win over the Rams, where neither team really looked like scoring the whole game.
Yeah, that's his thing. That was probably the most I've ever seen him smile.
Yeah, that was his
that game.
Super
His
Bowl.
Super Bowl.
That was,
The
yeah.
coup de grace of his career. No, but
As a Patriots fan yourself, what do you think?
I don't know if he certainly he hasn't lost the ability to coach, but he hasn't drafted well for years. The Patriots just don't have enough talent to be competitive in the AFC, and especially against a team like Dallas, who've got it all over the park.
True.
Like
True.
Dallas are absolutely loaded. Like, yeah, I mean they might not have a top 5 quarterback. They've got a borderline top 10 one, and they've got a loaded. They've got a top 5 player in the league at pretty much every other position. Like the Patriots, outside of Judon, don't have any.
But what do you reckon, Mitch? Brady or Belichick?
You'll never know unless you're in the room. But Brady, at a given point in any sport, I think when you are an elite player for so long and a leader, you transition from just a captain to an on-field coach. We see that in a lot of sports, and he is like that. He was like that at Tampa Bay, and there's other. Like there's McCourty on defense. There was Will Falk on the line. Like you go back to the initial stages. Like was it Teddy Bruschi? Was it Mike Vrabel? Like there's been so many leaders go through, and now there's none.
Was it Gostkowski with the field goals? Or before him was
Vinatieri.
But you had so much. You had Ty Law on those old teams.
Yeah,
you had it was just these teams were absolutely. Rodney Harrison was another one, right?
Yeah, he came in obviously. But
still, you had
Randy Moss.
He came in as well.
They never won a Super Bowl with Randy Moss.
That was the
But
best
17-0.
Patriot team.
That was
Yeah.
the best Patriot team, but of course, Eli Manning. Actually, speaking of which, sorry to take another.
Are we
tangent
talking about
on
the
this.
Eli cast?
But have you? No. Have you heard about this story between Eli Manning and Tom Brady and what happened after the first Super Bowl loss and the second Super Bowl loss with the drawing?
No,
This is an amazing story. So Tom Brady was talking about this on his podcast recently. I think it was with Patrick Bet David or something like. Is that his name? Patrick David Bet David. That fucking guy. He's a conservative guy. Anyway, and he was talking about how after they lost the Super Bowl to the Giants the first time, they met at midfield, and he went to shake Eli Manning's hand, and Eli Manning handed him a drawing of a horse. And said, "This is a drawing I drew for you, and I've got plenty at home, so you can take this one." This is no shit, right? So Tom Brady didn't get the joke at the time. Was just like, "What the fuck?" Left. Didn't really say anything to him. Then an hour later, Eli Manning calls him and says, "No, I want that drawing back." And Tom Brady's like, "This guy's a fucking retard," right? So does nothing about it. Doesn't give him the drawing back. Of course, many years later, not that many years later, but a few years later, they meet again.
Yeah.
And
4 years later.
And apparently, this is the quote. I mean, I'm saying it from memory, but look it up if you're listening and watching at home. Apparently, when they met at midfield after that second Super Bowl loss, he said that he'd never seen Eli Manning so stern in his life, grabbed him, pulled him in, and he said to Tom Brady, "That wasn't very nice. You should have given me back my horse."
What the fuck?
That is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard.
And there you go. That's why he came back in that Super Bowl. He just wanted his fucking horse drawing back.
So Eli Manning bought a picture of a drawn horse on the field
that he drew.
To a Super Bowl.
And he didn't get it back. So the next
the
time they met in the
January
Super Bowl,
08 Super
he
Bowl.
grabbed him and said, very stern with this stern
He waited
nature.
4 years. They don't meet very often.
4 years, yeah. And he said, "You should have given me my drawing back. That was not very nice." And apparently Tom Brady just started laughing because what the fuck do you do at that point in time? It's like talking to a 5-year-old.
But you're versing the greatest ever team that's gone 17-0, then 19-0, and you decide to bring on a drawing.
Of a horse. Well, obviously he was confident that he was going to win.
I wish it was 19. It was 18 at the
18,
time,
sorry.
unfortunately.
Just crazy too.
Yeah.
They were the Giants team that year were 9-7. They backed their way in.
Yeah,
to
from
the
They nearly
playoffs.
beat the Patriots in the 16th game in the regular season.
They beat Dallas in the wild card. Dallas in the divisional. Then they went to Lambeau, won the championship
If
off a
only
field
you'd
goal.
won, we would have won the Super Bowl.
That would have been
Probably.
America.
Brady v.
That would
Dallas
have been
game.
the favorite America game or most
Yep.
hatred. We don't know.
Randy Moss. Probably my favorite.
Tony Romo would have made one. At least give him that.
Yeah,
Hall
he
of Famer this year. Gonna say it now. First ballot.
It's not going to be first ballot. He hasn't done enough. It may be first ballot like golf Hall of Fame because he seems to be better at that than he
Can
is at
play,
quarterback.
yeah.
He can play. But probably my favorite thing to come out of that Patriots era was when they lost the Super Bowl against the Giants the second time, and someone had organized something like, I think it was like 10,000 Butterfingers got sent to
Wes Welker's
to
house,
Wes,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
it wasn't to his house. It was actually to City Hall in Boston.
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
that's
addressed
right.
to Wes Welker.
Yeah. I think
because of
Giselle
that.
sent them.
Can't
Yeah,
believe
you
for all
reckon?
the great teams he
They had
played
the
for.
fight that she was complaining about his when they're saying Brady lost again, and Wes dropped those two completions in the slot early in the fourth, I think it was, or one late in the third, one in the fourth.
Amazing for his long career. Wes Welker's never won a Super Bowl.
It's the same thing as Randy Moss. How long
was he
Randy
not
Moss's
around at
career?
Denver?
No.
In the last one. Oh, he would have been there for the
He
loss
was there for
against
the loss.
Seattle.
Yeah, which arguably
He went
one of
to-
the best offenses we ever saw, except for that game. That
safety
that
on the first play.
2013 Peyton Manning year.
Yeah, he's probably on the two best offenses ever.
Yeah,
07
probably.
Patriots,
And,
13 Broncos, neither
Yeah,
one.
The only other offense that I think would be up there is the Rams. Was that greatest show on turf, 2001? Those couple of years there with Kurt Warner before he ended up in fucking Europe.
Arizona.
Yeah, I
No,
reckon
Europe and then Arizona.
Wow, yeah, true.
The other thing when Denver beat it was like a 1 year wonder, but the Carolina team was amazing.
Cam Newton.
That's the best season I've ever seen by an
They
individual
go
player.
15-1.
Yeah, he was his season in 2015 was the best I've ever seen from an individual player.
Yeah,
Super Bowl
I would
50.
agree. It was nuts. It was nuts.
What was the number one offense versus number one defense?
But he was like half the offense. Like he was just ridiculous. He was the best player in the league by so far. It wasn't funny.
They probably
was-
should have won.
I was too scared to jump on the fumble.
Do you know what's really crazy? Carolina has not been an offense for this long, but it's just a team for this long. But it's just dawned on me that they've made 2 more Super Bowls than the Jets.
Yeah, they
One
lost
more
to
Super
New
Bowl than the
England
Jets. Hang
in
on.
04.
Yeah, one more. Yeah, they lost
3/1 January.
with Jake Delhomme as quarterback.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, the second
good
of
old days.
Brady's
and then they,
6.
And then they
or
lost
7, but 6
in what was that? 2015, 2016.
Yeah, 15 season, 16 Super Bowl. Yeah.
What's a Super Bowl?
What's a Super Bowl?
Dallas fan asking.
It's. I saw this joke once. It was like Peyton Manning's mum had to use a Super Bowl to cut his hair. It was like a roast Peyton Manning thing because his head's so fucking big. Anyway, we're off topic. I'm going to bring this back home. I'm going to complete our 4 downs. And we're reluctantly going to talk about this. We have argued for about a week and a half as to whether or not we want to talk about Taylor Swift.
Oh, God.
Do we?
But here we are. Well, we are going to talk about Taylor Swift because I am genuinely concerned that there's a little bit of a conspiracy going on here. I don't want to be one of those, conspiracy peoples. But here's the reality. There were a lot of fucking bad calls for the Chiefs. The Gamecast, why do I want to see Taylor Swift celebrating after an Isaiah Pacheco touchdown?
Good teams get calls.
She does not know who the fuck Isaiah Pacheco is. I know good teams get calls. But have you seen the Instagram accounts and the TikTok accounts and the Twitter or X.com accounts of the NFL? Dude, the X.com bio was like, the Chiefs are 2-0 as Swifties.
Fuck off.
Yeah. On Instagram, there's how you can have story highlights. The first one, I dare you to look it up. The first story highlight is, welcome Swifties. I understand that she has a massive following and a massive brand, but we're over it already. If we want to see Taylor Swift, I can guarantee you, that's not how we want to see her as football fans.
Well, you can't. Half her concerts are sold out anyway, so you can't see her.
I think he's.
I'm referencing something else completely different. I'd like to see. I'd like to see the OnlyFans collab between Jason. he would demolish her. She is so tiny and he is so big.
Not really. She's 6 foot.
He's a big boy.
She's 6. Yeah, but she's 6 foot and probably 110 pounds. But the point is Jason Kelce and her. That would be an interesting mix.
Travis.
Kylie Kelce might be really upset. Travis Kelce, did anyone see that someone was like, Travis Kelce went from some fucking typical American
Kayla Nicole,
fuckboy.
her name was.
Yeah, with this old chick. It was like some typical American fuckboy to a guy who looks like he's going to turn his body cam off before he bashes you, like a police officer with the moustache, now that he's dating a typical white chick. It's just hilarious. But no, on a serious point.
On a serious note, they panned to her 15 times during the game.
It's ridiculous. And I don't know. For me, it feels like the NFL is being totally opportunistic. And I actually have to say, I'm going to defend Taylor Swift for a second because none of this is actually her fault.
No.
I don't think that the NFL has got an agreement with Taylor Swift. I think she's there to support her boyfriend. It's probably going to end in a breakup pretty soon. That's just what happens. But before the Swifties come after me and say I am dogging Taylor Swift, that's not the kind of dogging I'd be doing. But I'm not dogging Taylor Swift, okay? I actually think that the NFL is abusing Taylor Swift a little bit because it is beyond a joke that they are so in deep. I mean, fucking Travis Kelce's jersey sales have spiked 400%. And the NFL takes a clip on all of that. Right? So I don't know. I just think that the NFL has obviously seen an opportunity.
They know it. What about all the references to the songs like, oh, he knows it all too well, oh, he found some blank space in the end zone. It's like, okay, we get it, Taylor Swift songs. Like, okay.
Yeah, I just think it's ridiculous.
But even cameras like, oh, here's her going to New York. Welcome to New York. Look at her put her bag into the security guy and let her walk. Look at her pick up popcorn. Who gives a fuck? I'm watching football.
Do you know what pisses me off? Wolverine was there.
Yeah, Hugh.
Hugh Jackman was there. Australia's boy.
Black
Australia's
Lively.
hero. Blake Lively.
Blake Lively was there as well.
Black Lively matters.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. Wrexham.
Yeah, the co-owner of Wrexham AFC was there. No one cared because Taylor Swift was there, but I think it's because the NFL has over-engineered it. And of course, now that you've got a bunch of Swifties watching, I don't know.
They're very dominant, the Swifties. You don't want to fuck with them.
You don't want to fuck with them because they'll organize
any guy that ruins Taylor Swift. And look at all the guys she's dated.
Yeah, exactly right. So I don't know. I
don't know. Football fans can fight back once she breaks Travis's heart.
It's not a conspiracy theory, but perhaps a little bit of collusion. And I'm not into it. I'm not into it at all.
I think they are capitalizing on the relationship commercially, but I don't think it has any correlation to the calls the Jets copped. Like, Kansas City got a fairly dodgy call off third down to win the AFC Championship game last year with the push out. So good teams and superstar players, which they have the best player in the sport at quarterback. Like they will get good calls and they'll get them all the time.
I think this is going to be a distraction. I think
yes, they're
2-0, but
you
guys don't know. For me, I know all the tips with Taylor Swift because of my missus loves her. But a week before the Super Bowl is the MTV Music Awards. Taylor Swift always performs it and has a breakup song. So,
oh dear,
there you go.
Well,
they won't make the Super Bowl.
Honestly, and
they won't make the conference. Come back to me now in week. What would it be? 18. That'll be wildcard divisional. Chiefs won't be in the conference.
Wow.
Calling it here.
I've actually heard something different. So here's what I've heard from an insider. Okay.
Is this the NFL scripted?
No. Well, no. This was not in the script meeting. This is. I've heard this from an insider. What's actually happened is this: Taylor Swift actually declined playing the Super Bowl recently.
The halftime show twice.
Halftime show. She's declined it twice. Right. She obviously doesn't care about football. Suddenly, the Travis thing is in. I actually think that the NFL is kissing her ass as much as they can because ultimately what they want is a Taylor Swift halftime show. The reason I've heard this from an inside source is because there's actually been a song that's been written specifically for this halftime show. Matt, if you want to pull it up.
Well, Usher's performing now.
Yeah, but for next year.
Usher's performing. What is it, 2005?
You stole my heart, you intercepted it.
Fuck's this? Oh my God.
Now you're gone, have to accept it.
This sounds like Brittany Mahomes.
Did I meet your mom too soon?
Or Black Lively.
Blake.
Or did I do what I always do? Yeah, we made it to the 50, and then you kissed me. We made it to the 40, a new love story.
Oh my God.
We made it to the 30, and you did me dirty right there.
So they did it on the 30-meter line.
You put the end in tight end, and as I touched down, just like you in a game, I'm in another town, and nothing feels the same. Wish I could go back when we met that day. Oh, whoa, and
Throw a flag on that play.
The fuck?
Is that like a deep fake?
AI is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
No. I believe it's leaked audio from the 2025 Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, could be. And
Could be.
motto of the story, Taylor, dump him and go for Nico Collins. Because the Texans are on the move.
They are. I wonder if she's going to be like the new Kim Kardashian, because didn't Kim Kardashian was
All
like
the
Reggie Bush, and then there was Miles Austin, and
Oh,
I
true.
don't know,
Miles
there was
Austin,
a
forgot
basketball
about
player,
him.
but then there was Kanye. So it'd be interesting if
It'd be good. Kanye came out and just rep someone in the NFL. Who knows what he's doing now, Kanye?
Kanye.
Yeah.
I don't know, the Nazi salute.
Yeah,
doing something
he's been
controversial.
cancelled recently, or not that recently. I think
Adidas's
he's been
cut
cancelled for a
ties
while.
with him.
And he's with that girl from Melbourne that wears no clothes.
And apparently she gave him some sloppy toppy on a boat in the
Italy.
Oh, yeah, I did see
where
that.
was it?
Italy.
Yeah, whereabouts in
Sicily.
Italy? No, it wasn't. No, it was
the water
at,
somewhere.
it was fucking Venice in one of those gondolas.
No, it was like a proper like speedboat.
Yeah, in a
Out there,
gondola
but it
in
wasn't in
the
Venice,
river. You sure?
Logistically difficult. Well
It is
done
very
from her.
difficult. If she could do that in
She
a
doesn't have to
gondola in
move.
Venice discreetly, good on her.
Well,
She's a keeper.
I think it wasn't discreet. That's why we all know about
I
it.
would rather soak in there.
If it was discreet, no one would know.
Speaking of
about it.
discreet, has anyone heard anything from OJ Simpson recently?
Back to the NFL.
No, but I heard he's.
Well, he's an
fantasy
NFL
teams
legend.
about
The Bills' great Aaron Thal.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we've done enough talking about the things that we wanted to talk
Did he
about.
ever wear
Let's
gloves
get-
during the NFL game?
I assume so, yeah.
Yeah, but he stopped taking his arthritis medication, and that's how he got away with the rest of it. Let's get into our game reviews before we find a way to get cancelled off of YouTube in only our second episode. Matthew,
Let's go.
Tell us how we picked, buddy. Take it from the top.
Detroit Lions walked into Lambeau on a Thursday night. Aaron Rodgers is no longer in town, and they bent over the Green Bay Packers 34-20. We saw it going this way, guys. Evan 27-24, John 31-22. I said 28-17, Mitch 24-21. And, I kind of like the way that Jordan Love was looking, but he looked pretty darn average. Or maybe the Lions just that good. I don't know.
They are good.
He loved
Lions
to come back in the third quarter, but then just the line just
They
choked
good.
him out.
Yeah. No, I just think the Lions are really good this year, and
They're solid all over the park, man.
we
Fucking
all,
good team.
honestly, like I remember doing this. We all laughed about Dan Campbell at the very start of last year. You know, he was such an interesting character. We all
He
wondered.
still is.
He still is, but
Get him on
now we
Cameo.
have. But now we have
Fucking
faith
price
in
going
him.
up.
Yeah, is it? You reckon?
You mentioned his coffee order last week. I was listening in on the
6
pod.
long black, surely.
Something like that.
At
So
once.
what is his coffee order?
Apparently, he does he said he does like a. What's the biggest size you can get at Starbucks?
Venti.
Venti. So he
Yeah.
does 2 Ventis. And then
Two
apparently
Ventis?
2 Ventis, and then he goes 2 extra shots in each.
What a boss.
And that's his morning. By the way, that's the way he said it. He said, "I go."
You know what I don't want to be? The Ford Field toilet. Seriously.
You
Come
thought Matt Patricia used to.
Normally, in Detroit
That was
means
there's a
something
bear
else.
shit in the woods. I hope Matt Patricia does and stays there.
Yeah. I think he is at the moment.
Well,
Where is
he's
Matt
the
Patricia?
former Lions great coach.
Pencil in the ear.
Great. It's a bit of a reach.
How easily
Yeah.
could Dan Campbell beat up Matt Patricia?
Oh God,
That's a
Just
garbage
look at
time
him.
question.
Just look at him.
We have a worse one.
Well,
don't
anyway,
worry.
so the
They
Lions
go-
look good. Lions look good, and we
They
all
are good.
picked the Lions for a very good reason because we thought they'd beat the Packers. Next one.
The second game, we had Miami Dolphins at Buffalo Bills. You know, the Dolphins dropped 70 points the week prior, held their opponent to 20, and it was a bit of a role reversal. They were held to 20 this time around. The Bills showing out 48 points to 20. Evan, I think you put it right, saying that they're going to stake their claim in the division, and heck, they did. Evan, 26-20 Bills. Mitch, 31-28 Bills. John and I off the mark going Miami 28-27. I said 37-34.
Yeah, I didn't expect to see such an ineffective.
What a game. So Josh Allen had more touchdowns than incompletions.
No joke.
Yeah.
Buffalo have those games once every 4 or
Yeah.
6 weeks where they just look like the clear Super Bowl favorite, and that was one of the games.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
But then again, Miami did kind of shoot themselves in the foot. I mean, Raheem Mostert 2 fumbles. I mean, you can't make those kind of plays.
Can't get 45 points every game in fantasy.
Since Buffalo lost to the Jets on on opening night, like they've just been awesome.
Yeah, they have. All right, next game.
Yeah, well, we went from what was it, amazing game to a shit bowl in Denver Broncos at Chicago Bears. John, you didn't have much faith in the offenses, but
didn't.
as Mitch said last week, these two teams have appalling defenses. It was 31-28 to the Broncos,
Very high
but it was
scoring.
not looking that way early on.
No.
With the Chicago Bears jumping out to what, a 28.
I think
Seven?
it's 27.
I don't
cheering.
understand how the Broncos won that game. I don't understand how the Bears lost it.
How
It makes
did
no sense.
I think how did the Chicago Bears lose that?
Yeah.
It's beyond me.
Well,
Yeah.
a fumble from Fields and the interception basically cost them hard.
Yeah,
Third downs each
the
time.
fumble leading to the
Third
like,
touchdown.
essentially a touchdown off that play.
I am excited though because Denver looked really bad against Justin Fields of all people. So how's he going to look against Zach Wilson? Hopefully,
The Jets D.
Hopefully,
We're
and the
not,
Jets D.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be picking a Broncos Jets.
Oh, I
for
don't think
the
we need to,
previews,
because every
but
time I pick
I
the
want to
Jets-
hear your thought. I want to hear your thoughts though later on. Evan was the only one that went
I
with
was
the
so
Bears.
happy. I'm like,
16,
yes,
13.
no one's going to go with them. I got it. And then, Justin Fields. Just
Yeah, it
started.
didn't work out.
It was
did
looking
Spewing.
all right for you
Spewing.
early on, 16-13. Sorry, Evan. Mitch on the money, 23-20 Broncos. I said 27-24 Broncos. John went with the Broncos, but interesting scoreline of 9-5.
Oh,
He
yeah,
nearly
he
picked the
went
nearly picked
9-4.
picked the winner, nearly picked the margin.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
tipping.
Exactly. Thank you very much. If this was a fucking gambling segment, I'd be the
But
closest.
he said there's going to be
motherfucker
2 safeties.
here. Did I?
Yeah, you said the Broncos will get a safety and the Bears will get a safety.
That requires the defense to get to the quarterback, unfortunately,
Yeah. Well,
Speaking of
defense.
or
defenses,
them to step.
speaking of defenses getting to quarterbacks, we're going to talk about the next one here.
Oh, yes.
The New England Patriots at Dallas.
Yeah. Wow. What a nightmare.
Wow, what a nightmare.
Did we all pick Dallas?
Move on.
Did we,
You
what
sure,
did we all
Mitch?
pick?
I think we should talk about
The
this.
worst prediction I had was Zeke.
We already did.
Group therapy?
Zeke Elliott with his revenge game didn't happen. How many yards did he get? Like 11? 10?
Well, that it really pissed me off because I had him as part of a multi, and I was just like 20 yards. Like he'll get 20 yards. And he was the one he fucked that multi up for me. Like 20 yards, man. Come on, against your old team.
We can't all be like Darren Waller a couple of
Darren
weeks
Waller got to 20 exactly in San Fran versus Giants for me.
exactly.
You get a couple right. Even a broken clock's right twice a day.
Well, the Dallas Cowboys 38-3. I won't go through the scores. We all picked the Cowboys.
Who got close?
No one. We all picked it way closer than what it was.
We all called it, like, I mean, Evan had a 3-point margin, you had a 5-point margin, I had a 7-point, and Mitch had a 5-point.
Right, okay.
Yeah, add them all up, double them, and we nearly got there.
Almost got there.
All right, move forward.
And we've spoken about the Hawks and Giants enough, 24-3. We all went with the
Seattle.
Seahawks. I guess I've spoken about the Giants already, but yeah, like super impressed with the Seahawks. I love the fact that the Russell Wilson trade just keeps on giving.
Yeah,
Devin Witherspoon is just looking like a
Very
fucking
good.
ball.
Very good.
So true, because I just love the fact that the Jamal Adams trade just keeps on giving.
Fuck off.
One game back, he's
had
played 28 games.
He's
and
telling
missed
off
20
doctors.
Hang on a second. He's played 28 games and he's missed 29, and most of the games he's missed have been for the Seahawks. And for us, who did we get out of that? Elijah Vera-Tucker and Garrett Wilson. So I'm also quite pleased at the trade that keeps on giving.
Oh my god, yeah, he had 9 snaps before he took a knee to the head and had to go off. It's just so.
But like I said, it was telling off the independent doctor from the NFL. Like, come on, man.
He was spewing.
They're better without him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we got some pretty decent
Yeah.
safeties. We got Julian Love from the Giants, who's been
Right.
really good for us. He's been a good pickup.
Yeah.
More than serviceable. Yeah, fuck off, Adams. Yeah. You don't have to remind me every time I talk about the
How long's the
Seahawks
contract?
defense. I don't even know.
2 years? I think they got 2 more
I
years
have
on him.
no
Yeah,
idea.
unfortunately, it was a big contract. All right, well, that pretty much does us for the games, right?
Well, it does us for the games, but we all did quite well this week. Evan
We did.
with 4, John with 4, Matt with 4, Mitch a
Mitch,
perfect 5.
The
out
king
of
is
5.
back.
You.
Tip
Now-
my hat if I had one on.
Now,
But I got this fresh.
Where does
salad.
this leave us
Believable.
thus far this season? We do have Matt up the very top, equal with Mitch, 7 points each.
Yes,
with
Matty
a
boy.
very narrow differential separating us. Evan and John on 6 points, also tied. Also,
Not that far back.
very, very close differential, but John, you are last.
Yeah, it's
At
because of
present.
my fantastic Denver pick.
The
I'm
9-5.
sure.
No, the differential was only 4. Like
Oh,
so.
right, yeah, true. Okay, that's not too bad.
But
That's
yeah,
not
so
too bad.
7, 7, 6, 6. It is tight, but it is also early in the season.
So we go in order.
It
So
is
Mitch
very
goes
early
first for the
season.
tips.
Yes, Mitch will go first for the tips, but also we have to remind our viewers and the people who are just coming in and brand new. Usually we have a bottle of something
Oh, the
dirty on the
tequila.
table.
Oh,
We've
we
forgotten
forgot
it.
it. Oh, shit.
So from next week we will start making this a bit more interesting. We're going to go back for a shot, and I think that if we were going to go back a couple of weeks and take a look at this, I'm going to put my hand up and say I'll take the shot next week in lieu of this week because I clearly fucking totally muffed that Denver game. It's hard to argue for that. And what would normally happen is we would argue who deserves to take the shot if we're all tied. I'll put my hand up and take it for this week, next week. The week before that, fuck it, we'll leave it. And next week, we'll make sure we have something dirty on the table ready to go.
Beautiful.
Let's get into our game previews. So as always, we have 5 games to pick. And the first one here is Jags-Bills. Mitch, what do you think?
In London town. Big
again.
test for Jacksonville, who have looked a fair bit worse than what people thought they would this year, I reckon. And Buffalo absolutely moving at the moment. I think they got too much offense for them. I'll go Bills 31, Jags 24.
This is strange. This is considered a Buffalo home game, although
In London.
the Jags
Jags haven't
have
left.
been there in consecutive weeks. I kind of had a bit of a hard time with this one, just given the Jags will be acclimated. I mean, London is kind of like their second home ground. I do think the Bills do win, though, in a narrow one, 28-24.
Is it in Toy Story as well? Or
I
No,
don't know.
one
If
week only.
No, just Wembley.
let's go
spewing.
back to Nickelodeon. I much preferred that last.
Patrick Starr.
They should have done Denver and Chicago in comics.
It was a bit of a stand-up set, wasn't it?
So, as Mitch said, Buffalo look great once every 5-6 weeks. I think it's going to be one of those games where they just do enough to get over the line. Josh Allen will probably go out gates 2 touchdowns and then go back to his normal self, taking risks. So I'm just going to go 24-16 Bills.
I'm going to be the contrarian here.
Ooh.
I actually think the Jags will get it done. This is a must-win for the Jags, I believe, to cement themselves in the division. especially with all the other competition looking good. So I expect to see a different Jaguars team this week. I know that they're obviously coming off a big win, staying in London. That makes a difference too. But I actually think that they're looking at this game as a must win, and I think that can change a team a little bit. So I expect I know that they didn't lose last week, but they beat a pretty shitty team. A bounce back in terms of back to form. Jags 27, Bills 22.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, good pick. No, I had trouble with this one, man. It's not a bad pick.
Yeah. Well, let's move into the Colts and the Titans.
Speaking of trouble,
yeah, this is
AFC South again. Or AFC South with the Jags and now the AFC matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think there, Mitcho?
Really tight divisional game between two teams with 500 records. I am going to go with my love for Mike Vrabel. I'll pick Tennessee just 23-20, but I think this is a field goal late game, last possession wins, or has a chance to tie and loses. So it'll come right down to the end, this one. Tennessee just.
Yeah, Tennessee riding the momentum, curb stomping the Bengals. Colts probably a bit deflated after the overtime loss against LA. I've also got the Titans with a one score gap, 27-20 Titans.
Yeah, same here. I got I think it's going to be a close one. I think Anthony Richardson again will try and do a nice performance with his rushing yards and touchdowns as he does. But Titans have been undefeated in 6 games against them, so I'm going to go Titans 21-17.
God, I'm going for broke. Colts to beat the Titans.
Oh,
Yeah,
20-17.
2 shots, baby,
20,
coming up.
Get the comedian out.
20-17. Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about this game. I think that the Titans are going to be riding high off the fact they beat a pretty poor-looking Bengals team, but I think the Colts look better than the Bengals at the moment. And I do think that the Colts really showed something against what is a resurgent Rams team. And I don't think that they're going to look at that as deflating. I think they're going to ride into this kind of in the same way the Jets will look at the Kansas City game as actually quite a big win. Even though they didn't win, I think you ride that confidence in. It was one of the better teams. The Rams are looking like a better team. Yes, they lost in overtime, but it was a good fight, a lot of a confidence-building game. So I'm going to go the Colts 20, Titans 17.
Do the Colts get Jonathan Taylor back this week or
No.
next week?
He's available this
He's
week.
available.
He's available, but whether or not he's going to
published,
play. It depends on if he's going to play. I don't even know if he's going to want to suit up. That's been part of the problem, right? Is he doesn't want to suit up.
That is the problem.
Let's talk about Cardinals Bengals. Do we think that the Bengals are going to do it, or do we think that I don't know, are they going to continue to stink it up?
I think both. I think they'll win, but it won't be pretty. They just have to win. If they drop this game, they're nearly gone for postseason. I think the conference is way too hard. You cannot lose at 1-3 in Arizona. Bengals, similar to the game 2 Mondays ago against the Rams. Bengals in a stinker 2013.
I was also going to use the same comparison. It's going to be super ugly. It's must-win territory for
100%.
Cincinnati. And that's purely what I'm basing this pick on, is they have to win this game. 24-20, super ugly.
Yeah, I got the Bengals actually pulling a finger out their ass and getting some touchdowns to Jamar Chase. As he said, I'm always fucking open. 27-13.
Hey, okay. 2 score.
Do it, John.
Don't say it.
Cards 23, Bengals 20. Yeah,
Are you kidding?
Yeah, because you know what? We can count out the Cardinals as much as we want, but they beat a very good Dallas team. A very good Dallas team. And I know
they should have
that-
beat New York.
And they should have beat New York. And obviously, I know they just copped it against San Fran, but who is not?
Yeah, their home performances have been good.
Who is not going to
Yeah.
cop it against San Fran this year, though? San Fran are just my opinion, the most complete team in the NFL right now is San Francisco 49ers.
We'll see the next game.
Yeah, we're going to find out. But anyway, I've got the Cards just edging the Bengals in an ugly 23-20 game. I don't think this is going to be one for the record books by any means, but I think the Cardinals will do it. There's something about the Bengals on defense that just doesn't get me this year. I don't know. And you know, Josh Dobbs is proving himself to be an okay quarterback. No eyebrows because he's fast, and it's all working. That takes us to the
Sunday night football.
America's game of the week. I'm
Game
sure
of the month,
this is
game of the
actually
year so far.
This is much must watch football. Like I believe this will be the best game of the week. I had a really tough time picking the scoreline here, but Niners Cowboys. What do we think, boys?
A battle of history, two franchises, the franchise of the 80s versus the franchise of the 90s. Both of which have been pretty good ever since, yet not won. I don't know why I think this, but I just think Dallas will win this.
You reckon?
I just think they've got a little bit more to prove. They've both played pretty soft schedules to start, but Dallas need a scalp, and I don't know why. I just think they'll get one here. I'm going Dallas 27, Niners 24. It's a hunch. I don't have a logic. San Francisco are probably slightly better than them in most areas, but
Yeah, I don't know.
it's slight.
I feel both elite defenses, Cowboys, 49ers, best in the conference and probably across the entirety of the league.
Definitely the best two Ds in the NFL.
Yeah.
Or you have number 2 versus number 3.
I just feel like
Who's won?
there's just
Philly.
Yeah, I feel like there's just far more versatility on offense with the 49ers. Like we're seeing it week over week now where they can get it done all through CMC. They can get it done with Brandon Ayuk. They're yet to put it all together.
Here and there with Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like they are yet to showcase all their weapons all at once, and but they don't really need to anyway because they've been getting it done. So yeah, I just kind of give the Niners just an offensive edge in this one, and I've actually got them by a fair margin, 31-20 49ers.
Wow. Sunday Night Football again, the second time Dallas appear on Sunday Night Football. Obviously, week 1 we appeared against the Giants and a nice 40-0. A bit of history for you blokes. So obviously, the last 2 times we played the Niners, both shocking plays to end the year with Dak's scramble and the Zeke block. But besides the playoffs, we haven't lost in San Francisco since 1997. Bit of a history for you. Since then, we've been 5-0. So I'm going to go Dallas and Mr. Field Goal Man, Brandon Aubrey, 31-27.
Wow.
31-27.
Man,
A 4-point field goal, or the Niners going to not get the XPT on one? Yeah.
I had a really, really tough time picking this one. It was a coin flip
Is that
for me.
59?
No, it's not 59. It's 37. And I actually I fundamentally believe that the Niners will win 37-33. I think it's going to be a huge game. It's going to be a huge game. Sorry, as we point our fingers around, we've got some technical difficulties. We forgot to plug in the chargers. There's a fucking extension cable there, bro.
Call us Brandon Staley.
This is my fault. I usually set everything up. Yeah, you might have seen me pointing like a buffoon. Cameras were about to run out of battery. That would have been devastating in only the second ever video version
Turn it on.
of this pod.
Are we going to have
PowerPoint.
who's Kellen Moore to do your job even more cheaply for the ownership?
It'd be nice if we could get an intern, wouldn't it?
Right,
they probably would have also charged my Apple Pen.
I'll move aside while Matty plugs in.
Yes, please do.
He can slot in last on this for the Monday night fixture at Allegiant Stadium, Raiders-Packers. I'll open up. Oh, I have to open up here, don't I? I'll open up, and I think that Jimmy G will play this game, and that I share Matt's view on Jordan Love's finish to the game in Detroit. He didn't look that great. I think that the Raiders are in desperation mode and they win this.
You reckon?
I'll go Raiders 27, Green Bay 24. They'll still put up some points because the Raiders stink.
Well, we got the Devontae Adams return
versus
the Packers.
It is, yeah.
That's true.
So I got the Raiders in Allegiant Stadium, and I got Devontae 2 touchdowns against his former team, 27-20.
But who's playing quarterback?
I think Jimmy G will be back.
I think regardless,
You think
Adams
Jimmy G
has to
will be
get targeted. Josh Jacobs hasn't been, he scored a touchdown last week, but wasn't really
Brian
much
Hoyer.
use up until the third or fourth quarter. But the week before, you saw Adams get 14, 13 receptions. It was just him and what's Matt doing here?
We're just fixing things. Forget about that. Technical
Adams
difficulties.
and Jacoby Myers, them two, when they're on fire, and Jimmy G or whoever's that quarterback wants to throw them the ball, they're too good.
Yeah, you reckon? For me, I don't know. I think the Packers are going to win this one. I just think that this is quarterback problems. There's quarterback problems in the Raiders. Like Jimmy G hasn't even looked that good.
Yeah, he has looked very bad.
He's looked poor. He's looked poor, man. Like he just has not looked good this year. So I don't know. For me, I'm more concerned about the Raiders than I am about the creative boy. We're fixing our technical difficulties here. I think we've just fixed
You need to turn on the PowerPoint.
No, we're okay. I think that the Packers will get it done 18-17.
Oh, that was their win 2 weeks ago. They beat the Saints by the same score, wasn't it? After being 17-0 down.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Derek Carr when I'm on the Saints to win the NFC South. Thank you, Derek.
That's what I am thinking, which leads us back to Matthew as he has just saved the day. Everybody give a round of applause for Matthew.
Yeah, Matty boy.
Because he's been scuttling in the background and he's gotten creative.
Matty Ice.
Gotten creative. One of the phones is going to run out of batteries. This one here that was looking at my pretty face, and yet he's resourceful enough to have worked it out without a plug.
Pleasure as always, guys. Packers 17-7 in a stinker.
Oh, wow.
Oh, worth the wait. What a game.
Fantastic. Well, speaking about something that went really, really well this week, boys, what happened with Mitch's multi? I believe we won, baby. The Jets almost undid it. But
yes.
we won.
We had a 5-leg money line multi, or was it 4?
It was 5.
5, yeah. And
pretty good.
At $3.50, the Vikings to do the business of the Bryce Young-led Panther vehicle. We had the Eagles
In overtime.
Yeah, doing away with the commie. Like
The commies.
Yeah, almost. Actually, that was almost the undoing, if anything. The Commanders.
Yeah. The Eagles weren't good. They haven't been good all year, but they're 4-0 again.
Q Evans saying, "Who did they beat?"
Yeah.
Watch their schedule in the next 4 weeks. Watch it.
The short answer is everyone,
Yeah.
much like last year.
Exactly.
The Chargers accounting for the Raiders, but only by 1 score again. It is hard to win a game in the NFL. San Fran didn't find it hard, though, beating Arizona 30-11.
Yeah.
And Kansas City found it extremely difficult despite looking very comfortable early, only narrowly accounting for the Jets by a field goal. 5 legs at $3.50.
This week.
What are we gambling with, Evan, this week?
Remember, we have to say, what are you really gambling with, Mitch? And that's our winnings.
That is our winnings for
This week
we're
it
in
is.
Gambling
front.
with. Thank you, Sportsman.
We are not chasing our tail for the first time in the history of Mitch's multi. That's
true.
We were minus 50 after week 1. A 2-week hiatus probably helped Mitch's multi, but we were 175 to the good last week, leaving us in the green by 125. Woo! We have another 50 this week, and we are going to again stick with a money line multi. We're going to go for 3 legs. We are going to open it up in the early window with
the earliest, Thursday night football.
Oh, yeah, we are. The earliest of all windows. The Commanders, the Commies, doing the business this week against the Bears. God, the Bears suck. They'll win 3 games maximum this year. Washington have to win that to at least keep pace with the Giants for 3rd place in the NFC East. Detroit, let's ride them. Let's ride not just for Detroit, but against Carolina, who also stink.
Yes.
The Lions, they're going all the way this year to the NFC Championship game. 3-1 already. The Lions are flying. They'll be winning. And the team they'll be playing in the NFC Championship game, the Eagles, 4-0 against the Rams, 2-2, who've started the year all right, the Rams, to be honest, but the Eagles, far too good in all phases. We'll be beating them. Take your $2.60. That'll put us further up, and we look forward to week 6 next week.
Yes. Before we move on from Mitch's multi, can I just say, fuck the Miami Dolphins. Evan, can you pull up, because my phone's obviously one of the cameras, but pull up my multi and just read every other point on that, and then we'll get to the last one, because this was a multi that was paying $282. It was a 9-leg. Did I pull?
Disgrace.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's
They're
hard
always
to hit. It's hard to hit it. It's hard to get close on a multi that's 9 legs. But I had
282 to 1, yeah.
282 to 1. But I had some outsiders too. So tell the people what I picked this week.
Okay. So you had Seattle against the Giants, San Fran, Dallas, the Chargers, Philly. You had Tampa Bay. You had Houston. You had Baltimore. You had Denver. You had Minnesota and Miami.
Oh, my God.
Miami fucked me. $282 to one, fellas. I was expecting to buy a new watch.
Can't be worse. Like I said, week 1,
Rolex
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Week 1, 2020, when the Jets and Cowboys cost you $50K.
it was more than 50K. It was about 200K. So the worst betting experience of my life. This is why now my wife only lets me put on $5 bets. I can only, spend $25 a week. Fair, because of my history with gambling. But yeah, I had a multi that was a 16 leg multi. So it was every game. It was week 1, and the two teams that fucked me were the Jets and the Dallas Cowboys in games that they both should have won. I can't remember the specific games, but I know they both should have won those games. That one there, I had put like a 50 banger on it, and it was paying out like $220,000. To hit on what was that, 14 of 16 is pretty fucking wild.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's hard to win a game in the NFL.
It is.
Now
alone
I'm doing
14.
$5 bets, and anyway,
We'll get there someday.
we will get there someday. We will buy the lovely watch. Well, good luck this week, fellas, if you're punting at home. Let's talk about SKs. Good SKs, bad SKs, everything in between. But let's start by reviewing last week, because I think comically I'd like to start with Mitch's fantastic bad SK. McCaffrey. Wow.
I think he said on the words they're going to rest McCaffrey. The first 3-4 plays are just going to take him out. What happened the first 3 drives for San Francisco?
Tutty.
Yeah. I 2 rushing, 1 receiving, wasn't it? I think...
No, it was 3 rushing. He had 4 touchdowns all up, didn't he?
It was crazy.
All we know is he ended up
I
with...
think he had a receiving one and,
Yeah.
and three
Yeah.
rushing. But to me, I mean, I don't know why they're riding him this hard in games that they're going to win easily without riding him that hard. I think Shanahan wants him to win the MVP.
Yeah, probably. I think Shanahan is at that point where he's only chasing a couple of things now, and that is, can I get a player of mine to win MVP? He's already won Coach of the Year, hasn't he? And can I win a Super Bowl?
Yeah, the year they lost to KC, didn't he win it? I think.
He did. So, it's can I get an MVP and at a position that everyone is not expecting to be MVP?
Yeah, no running
know?
back or no non-quarterback since
a very long
all
time.
day, wasn't
AP.
it? Yeah, 2012.
Yeah, it's been a while. So that and the Super Bowl.
I was going to build up to what was actually the
Oh,
worst,
sorry.
the worst SK, but we'll go in reverse order then. Yeah, that was pretty bad. So he did have a projection of 20.4.
What did he go, 48, 50 or something?
48.7.
Oh, Jesus.
So that was,
Yeah,
he
that's
ended up
bad.
going 138% above expected.
Yeah, not
Rather
good.
than shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got the Moldy up there.
Yeah. Arguably the second
God.
worst pick, though, was Javonte Williams. Good SK from John.
I know. But it doesn't count because he got injured.
Oh, did he? Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
that's why it was so bad. He got
Yeah.
injured.
Yeah.
Fairly early.
Couple
as
of
well.
snaps, and then something snapped. So.
Well, your Alvin Kamara pick wasn't that great either.
No, I fucked up this week. Yeah, I had said last week, we're getting better at this, and I think this week we just proved that we're not at all.
Hey, I went right on the other side.
Okay, well, we'll find out.
Yeah, I love that we had a bit of like
Synergy.
fucking telekinesis shit going on, whatever the fuck it is, the mind reading shit.
conspiracy.
We both had the
ESP
ESP. Thank you. That's what I was thinking
ESPN.
of. Thank you, ESPN. DJ Moore was
Very
our
good.
standout. We
Yeah.
both had DJ Moore projected to get 11.31. He got a whopping 27.1.
Yeah.
Well done, Mitch.
What
Yeah.
about
So
Lamar?
what was the over percent? What was the over?
140% over projection.
So I was what was
4% in the positive.
Yeah, I was 4% the positive.
So it actually
good.
offset by 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
2%.
So
Yeah.
you're good.
Did
Not
you
me.
offset?
No.
I'm me.
Lamar.
I'm good. My Lamar was only 23% over.
Oh yeah, cool. You
I'm
pissed it in.
all right.
Yeah,
I'm all right.
But I went all right. Cool.
Yeah.
That's okay. Over a positive game.
But probably the second best pick was DeAndre Swift from Evan, projected to get 9, end up getting 17.9, so 98% above
Yes.
projection.
Good from you,
So not as good as our week 1 SKs, but not too bad.
It was my
either.
bad.
Your bad was Calvin Ridley. And
Yeah, he did the bad.
He caught a touchdown.
Yeah, but what was his projection?
Yeah, he's about average. I
13.97, you got 11.8.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's still
Yeah.
Still not quite meeting the numbers, but not bad. Well, let's go around the room and pick our good SKs.
Good, Evan,
Who wants
good.
to launch into the good SK? I tell you what, seeing as Well, who did the least worst?
I'm 0-4 in fantasy, so I'll go last.
Okay, cool.
Who did the least worst? Does that mean who did the best?
Yeah, that's.
Is that what you're
Suppose that's the
saying?
same thing.
I'd say Evan probably did the best overall. So
Okay,
I think
so
Evan can lead us off.
Yeah.
I'll
definitely did
lead
the
us
best.
off. So we're going with our good. To be honest, to give you a spoiler, my good and bad are Cowboys players.
Of course they
Oh,
are.
wow.
So
Look for the
if
on-
Dallas
surprise
get
bucket.
this done, it's going to be Dak's favorite position. That's going to be the tight end, and Jake Ferguson.
Is it really?
Jake Ferguson. I got his name
yeah.
this time. 72 overall Madden. Yeah, he loves his even though Dallas is shocking in the red zone, he loves his red zone targets at tight ends, and plus he's only projected to get 7.57 points. He should get well above that.
Yeah, that good
definitely
pick.
start the 8th tight end, Jake Ferguson.
Like that. Very good.
Dalton Schultz is going well at Houston.
Houston.
Yeah, he is. He is. Matt, do you wanna go
I'm
next?
also going a tight end. I'm going with Zachary Ertz from the Arizona Cardinals. I think he's yet to find the end zone. He's been doing reasonably well, kind of at or just below his projection. He's coming up against the Cincinnati Bengals team that are really poor against tight ends. I think they're ranked 27th in the league against tight ends. I think Zach finds the end zone. He's been targeted pretty heavily. I think around 10, 11 targets a match. Fairly good conversion. I think he continues that production, continues to get targeted, but he finds the end zone this week and he'll get into the teens.
When was his last touchdown? That one that he dropped off Foles in the Super Bowl? Use the ground to
Is that
catch
the
it.
last one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disgraceful.
Yeah. Well, I'll give you mine. I think this week, Breece Hall's going to feast. I think they're going to finally rip the Band-Aids off and let him go. I mean, he's only averaging like 6 or 7 carries per game, so he's actually been a bad SK outside of week 1, but I mean, that's because he broke 2 ridiculous runs, so they haven't really fed him the ball, but they're going up against a Denver team that's just atrocious. And
Let Zach cook, baby.
Yeah.
Good
well,
opportunity.
I think Zach, would be good. If he can stack wins, not stack wins, but stack good performances, would be great. But I think Breece Hall, they're going to give him the ball. I think Dalvin Cook's looking a little bit washed up, so they're gonna ride Breece the Beast, and I think that he's going to go over whatever his projection is by far this week.
I reckon that's in Denver, that game, isn't it?
It is in Denver.
Wow.
Yeah.
Zach
High.
Wilson throws a 80-plus yard touchdown pass.
In that thin air,
Yeah.
probably. He's
Yeah.
got the kid's got an arm.
He's got an
He's
arm.
just hasn't got a
Denver
brain.
ain't got a defense, so it's a good combination.
That's true. That's
Breece
true.
Hall 13.44.
Great. So he'll
okay.
get 16 or something.
Okay.
We going good or bad first?
We're still going good.
Brian Robinson, formerly
Oh,
shot.
man.
My God, that I'm starting.
Formerly shot.
No, literally formerly shot, not
interesting.
shot in the literal sense, not in the figurative sense. 13.29 projection, but
I got to
versus
start
Chicago, poor team at home. Not a lot of throwing in the Thursday night games. Typically, teams just try to get out of Dodge with a win. I reckon they ride him home to victory. And I reckon he's 20 plus this week.
Beautiful. I have to start him as well.
Yeah. You're not playing me, are you? You already beat me.
Oh,
So
yeah.
did everyone else.
I have to verse the no name that we're not going to name until he gives us the money. Or hopefully he wins and we don't have
Shout
to pay
out.
him.
Hey, Christian. How you doing?
I'm telling you, I hope
Money by Monday.
I hope he wins so no one pays him and he knows how he feels.
Kneecap him. Anyway.
Okay, let's go into our good SKs. Evan, do you want to kick it off while you're there?
The bad SKs, you mean?
Bad SKs, whatever.
So I'm going to go my Cowboys running back, Tony Pollard. So he's projected to get 15.78 points. I think if Dallas get it done, it's going to be in the air by Dakota. Plus the last 2 games, he's had 11 rush attempts, 12 rush attempts. So to get above 15, and plus I don't think we run a lot in the red zone, we'll pass. So sit Tony P, running back number 6.
It's really interesting because it's not that you guys pass in the end zone, so you just pass on scoring touchdowns in the end in the red zone at the moment.
Well, it's
It's
stupid.
completely. It's like, let's just not do that.
It's like stupid play. Like the biggest one that annoyed me, and going back to the Arizona game, is like he ran 3 running plays where we needed to save the clock in 4 minutes. We had 4 minutes to score 2 touchdowns. Instead, he ran the ball 3 times, where the previous attempt, he threw the ball 4 times. So it should have been the other way around. Run it when you have clock and pass it when you need to save the clock. But hey, that's one loss we needed.
Oh, I think Mike McCarthy and clock management are, I don't know.
It wasn't as bad as Andy Reid in Philly, though.
No, well, it
yeah,
wasn't.
but one of those coaches really worked it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he needed a generational quarterback.
Yeah, well, McNabb.
Not
Made a
McNabb,
Super Bowl with McNabb.
he
yeah.
did, and he also threw up in a huddle.
Yep.
You did.
McNabb. Anyway, Matt, have you got your bad SK?
My bad SK is Dana White's family friend,
Oh,
Puka Nakua.
Oh,
I'm betting
Cooper Cup
against-
back.
yeah, nephew.
Sell
Apparently.
high. Sell
So
high.
high.
Yeah.
Great name,
Yeah.
though. Great name.
Against... I
Kuna Matata.
don't think Philadelphia necessarily have a great defense, or not shown to have a great defense so far this year.
Stafford's getting killed this week.
It's just, sell high. I don't know, maybe Cooper Cup.
I think
might
Cooper
actually
Cup
be
is
as
back
well.
this week.
So just overall, just distributing the ball a bit more.
But it will
and
be
he is
interesting
like
because
the
they're very
rifle
similar
runners in
players, how they're going to
Yeah.
balance it.
Yeah, he's projected to get 18.25.
Fuck,
I
that's
think
all.
he gets
That is high.
half of that.
Yeah.
I'm predicting a 9 burger.
Hey, you went wrong with the 4 points
Wow.
with Najee.
We'll see.
Wow. Okay, well, I suppose I was going to go next because you got to go last. For me, Stephon Diggs. I just think that the travel and his emotions are running high, and I don't know. There's just something about Stephon Diggs, and this week I think that it's what should be a favorable matchup with the Jags. I think the Jags D line is going to cause a lot of problems for Buffalo, and the Jags seem to have some okay corners still. But I don't know. I just reckon it'll be one of these games where Diggs is open, but it's tough for Josh Allen to get in the ball as opposed to Diggs being shit. And we know Diggs, when he gets a bit emotional, he gets really emotional on the
Yeah,
sideline.
he's getting held up by TSA on the way out.
Yeah,
He'll
I
be
think
holding
there's
that
a- I think
grudge
there's
all
gonna
the
be
way through to
something
week 6.
So that's it for me. I think Stephon Diggs is going to be a bad SK this week. Round us up.
Yes,
Mitch,
too easy, Darren Waller.
Yeah, actually, true.
9.05 projection, barely gets the ball. The Giants will barely have the ball against Miami. They stink. Darren Waller may not stink, but the way they use him does. And
true.
they're probably going to get beat 30 plus.
True. Okay, that wraps up our SKs. And where are we, boys? We're at our favourite segment.
It smells in here.
It smells in here. It's starting to get dank, damp,
The worst
mouldy.
version of the world.
Garbage time.
And Evan reckons he's got a really trash question for us this week. Tell us, Evan.
I have to change it up. I've been doing a lot of good. I have to go back to my World Cup sense questions.
Oh,
Like,
for
if you
fuck's
were
sake.
there, well done. So I reckon we can go from divisions to conference to Super Bowl. If all namesakes / mascots had to fight,
Oh, I like
who
this.
is winning? Division by division.
All right.
Conference
all
by
right,
conference.
Righto, let's go.
all right. Start with the AFC
North.
Okay, cool.
So you
we've
got a Bengal, a Steeler, a Raven,
a Steeler, a Raven,
and a Brown, an Elf.
A tiger would
Okay, well,
obviously eat all the others.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
Bengals.
Well, I mean, if a tiger tries to eat steel,
What's a stealer?
No, it's a Steeler. It's a isn't
Steel
it a
worker,
It's
steel
a
worker.
Steel
Yeah,
worker.
a tiger would be eating all of the
yeah,
animals,
You
inclusive
reckon
of the
that the
human.
Raven can
The
fly?
Raven's elusive. Yeah, the Raven is elusive.
What
Raven
damage is it
can
going to
fly.
do to the tiger?
Shit on it.
Well, the thing
Yeah.
is, the Bengal is not going to get much sustenance when it eats the Steeler and the Brown. It'll die, and the Raven will eat
Just
its
outlive
carcass.
it. Just outlive it. Okay.
I'm going Raven.
That's true.
Righto, I'll pay that for
all right, we'll
conversation
go Raven.
continuity
We'll go Raven.
purposes.
So we'll go Ravens. So make a note. We got my Apple pencils out. So someone make a note. Just Ravens.
Yeah.
All
Write
right.
it down. Write it down.
Do you want me to- I'll
let's
do a full
the-
bracket.
Let's do the East. Let's do the East. So
We're
we've
not
got-
doing wild cards, are we? For
No,
fuck's sake?
No, just division wins. So we
God
got
have
a
mercy on
Buffalo.
my soul.
We got a Buffalo. We got a Dolphin. We've
No,
got a
they're a bill, not a.
What's a
oh,
Bill?
true. They're not- yeah, but hang on. A bill is a buffalo.
A Buffalo Bill.
It's a buffalo. The bill is a buffalo.
Is
That's
it?
what it is. That's why haven't you seen the logo? It's
The
a buffalo.
mascot. The mascot
It's
is
a
a
buffalo.
buffalo.
It's a buffalo.
Yeah, okay, righto.
Yeah. It's just that's why they call the bills. The bill is the fuck. Anyway, it's a buffalo bill. It's not to be confused with a buffalo
Yeah,
bill.
so the bill, the dolphin, the bill
a
beats the
dolphin,
dolphin, yeah.
A Patriot and a Jet.
and a jet. A jet's gonna bomb them all.
Yeah, but
What's the Dolphin gonna
despite the
do?
war on terror, like the Patriots are still winning.
Are they really?
We are
Yeah.
Americans.
What happened during Vietnam?
Well, but what happened against the jet? Yeah.
Yeah, well, but the Patriots probably are running the jets. So they're
And-
bombing themselves.
And, the Europe, whatever side in Europe, they started both the wars. America finished them both, so
So okay,
shout out to European listeners and Ryder Cup winners.
So either the Patriot we can agree is probably going to kill the Dolphin anyway, or kill the Bill because they've probably got guns.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. But they could
But
shoot the jet down
Can
too.
they shoot the jet? But,
Oh, I don't
but the
know.
jet can drop like a Hiroshima-sized nugget.
Yeah, jets win via what's
Via-
attached to the jet.
Jets win by atomic
This
bomb.
is
Oh, well,
good
then
chat,
how's
by the way.
how's the Jets' accuracy though? If it's going at a certain speed, it has to drop it at like.
Yeah,
Don't
but
talk about
Hiroshima,
accuracy in the Jets, bro.
Hiroshima, you just drop an atomic bomb and blow the whole thing up.
Aaron can sit in the cockpit with the Achilles and
Yeah, that's
press
true.
the button.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
South?
AFC South, we've
Oh,
got a
God.
colt, so we've got a baby horse.
L.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we've got a
baby horse.
Jaguar, which is going to kill the baby horse.
Yeah.
We've got a Texan.
Just
Let's
some
kill
redneck
themselves.
bastard.
Oh, at least,
With ivermectin. and then we've got a Titan. A big
Titan.
thing
I don't think there's a lot of coronavirus protection being used in Texas,
in Texas.
but yeah.
No. So we've got a colt is going to get killed by a Jaguar.
Jags.
A Texan is just a state.
Jags.
What
So,
about a
I think-
Titan? It's a mythical.
Titan's like a big thing. It's like
Jags.
probably
It's not even
Jaguar.
fucking real, the Jags.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
if it'll
okay.
just it'll rip up an artery in the leg.
Go the
of the
animals.
Titan. And then we've got
Here we go.
a chief, a charger.
Nope.
What's a charger?
Lightning.
Like a Dodge
Lightning
Charger?
bolt. It's a lightning bolt.
Oh, not a Dodge Charger. Okay. Raiders, and then the Broncos.
A
So
lightning versus Bronco.
Lightning versus the Broncos.
Shit that's coming out of the sky is
Yeah,
tough
it's
to
just,
beat.
it is tough to beat. Okay, so we've got the Chargers. So that ties up the AFC. Now, should we just really quickly go through so who we've got? So we'll go East versus West and North versus South. So we've got a Jet versus a Charger. If the Jet gets struck by lightning, that's really hard to beat.
Yeah, Charger wins.
But the Jet can't really strike the lightning. But the Jet can fly very quickly
Chargers.
into. Hang on. But the Jet can fly very quickly into greener pastures.
It depends what
Into
weather we're
nicer-
talking.
You're never going to
Nicer
win doing
weather.
that though. So Chargers.
Yeah, I suppose.
You're only looking
Okay,
to
so the
protect.
Chargers. Well, hang
We've
on a
already
second.
had the-
But hang on. I have to say, but planes get struck by lightning all the time. And they don't go down.
But that's planes.
That's so you don't think? Oh, so the
Your jet's
the
smaller.
fucking-
Jumbo jet.
and,
What are we
and
talking?
they're billions of dollars worth of equipment. I'm sure they're good
Chargers are winning. With natural phenomenons are hard to beat.
at- Okay.
And we've already had the Ravens versus Jaguars argument with the
Alright.
with the Bengals versus Ravens.
All right.
So it's
now we've
Raven.
got
It's a Ravens
Raven versus Jaguar.
versus
and
yeah. Ravens are going to win because
Ravens are gonna win.
they've already knocked over the Tiger.
yeah, but then they're going to get struck by lightning because they fly so high. So the
Yeah.
Chargers make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Brandon
Staley,
Staley's made
Brandon
it.
Staley's in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
Wow.
good.
Okay. Now let's go
Righto.
the other way. So now we'll start with the NFC East. We've got an
God.
Eagle, we've got a Cowboy, we've got a Commander, and we've got a Giant.
A giant, surely.
But didn't we just use the logic before that Titans are mythical?
That's right.
Discounted mythical
Yeah,
creatures?
Giants.
but a Cowboy's not going to beat a Giant, and a Commander's not going to beat a
Could
Giant
they cut?
Giant's
Could they
huge.
cut like a vein as well on the ankle?
Well, with an Eagle, I think I'd probably just punch the Eagle.
Yeah, the
in
Cowboy
face.
will lasso the eagle to the ground.
Yeah, but the
Yeah.
Cowboy
Like, it's
will
not
get
actual
stomped.
football. Maybe the Cowboys could win that one.
No, I don't think they beat a Giant though. A Giant's just too big.
What about
What are you going to lasso? You're going to find you can't find a lasso big enough.
Yeah.
What's the eagle going to do to the Cowboy, though?
No, it's not. The
Eat it,
Giant's
shit
going
it?
to.
Do Washington get to use all their mascots?
What, the Redskin?
Redskin,
well.
Commanders, and football
football
team all at
team.
once.
Oh,
They
yeah,
play
yeah,
multiple
yeah,
sports.
yeah.
A football team at football.
Football
isn't it?
Well, they they lost regularly as a football team. Well, they did make the playoff as WAF, didn't they?
I think I don't know. Something tells me that the Giants will win this one because
Yeah.
they're just big.
give it
Yeah,
to the Giants.
I'm going Giants.
All right, we've got a lion, my favorite mascot. We've got a packer. We've
Boxing
got a
Day.
Viking.
Oh, lion versus bear.
and
This
we've got
is
a bear.
hard.
It's
eh?
definitely, so we got to say that it'll be lion or bear, right?
Yeah.
But who wins that? This
What
is
about
actually.
Are we
Do
just
you know what?
discounting Vikings?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the Viking will still get killed by the lion or the
Yeah,
bear.
I'm
But
definitely
what
backing
weather?
on
What happens if it's like cold Minnesota weather?
The bear
Then
will
the
still
bear
win.
will still win.
Yeah.
they're you know
They're
Is
cold
it
weather
a-
creatures.
Is it a bear that Khabib fought though? Because they're undefeated.
they were baby bears. He didn't fight
No,
big
the bear.
bears.
It's a full bear because the
It's not
Cubs.
Cubs.
The Cubs
It's not
are
a
baby
Cub.
bears.
I gotta say, I'm back.
Fuck, how'd the Cubs miss the playoffs? Well, I'm getting this
no,
out on the
we-
baseball podcast.
Yeah, well,
Seriously.
how'd the,
I'm
how'd
back
the
in the
Mets
Bears.
fuck this up so
I'm
bad
going.
too?
I'm going a bear.
Lost
over
10
a
of our
lion.
last 14. They missed the playoffs by a fucking game.
True.
I'm going. I'd back a bear over a lion.
Yeah, bears.
Yeah, okay, let's go. Well,
This makes no fucking sense.
makes no sense at all. All right, then we've got the NFC South. So we've got a Buccaneer,
A pirate.
Falcon, a Saint, and a Panther. Can the Saint just call in something like big boy? Give me a blessing.
Panthers.
Well, a saint.
Panthers.
But
Isn't,
then
a,
didn't we just argue the Falcon could outfly the Panther?
isn't a saint something that is kind of
No, the
given-
Raven
given-
argument, yeah.
Saint is kind of given to an individual posthumously. So
George St.
Oh, so
Pierre.
they're already dead.
they're dead.
They're dead. True.
George St. Pierre.
So essentially, what we're talking about is the panther kills the buck, but the falcon outflies the panther. Therefore, the falcon outlives the panther.
Arthur Smith.
Yeah, Falcons.
All right, Falcons, great.
Just get him into the Super Bowl again. This will be funny.
Yeah, this would be-
Fuck, surely they could score a field goal to get to 31-3 against Brandon Staley.
Yeah, you would think
Anyway.
so. You would think so. And now we've got the 49ers, the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Cardinals. Now, I think this is a bird fight.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's a Seahawk and a Cardinal. Now,
I think the Ram wins because they kill each
A
other in the air.
Seahawk is fucking huge. Like,
Seahawks.
the Cardinals are tiny
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
I
Seahawks
think
for
so.
sure.
So it's a bird fight, but the
Seahawks.
Seahawks win. So now we've got so we go East versus West. We've got a
Giant and a Seahawk.
giant and a Seahawk. I think in this case, the
We
Seahawk
saw it
kills-
yesterday.
That's true. Okay, Seahawk beats the Giant,
Yeah.
and then we've got the North and the South.
Bear
We've got
and a Falcon. Bear's going to
I
fucking check.
think if the Falcon gets too close, the Bear will eat it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now we've got the Bears and the Seahawks.
Oh.
They're both big
But we've
creatures,
just
man.
used. How can the Seahawk damage the Bear though? The Bears.
Go on, Bears. Go on, Bears.
Bears.
again.
So we've got
We got
we've got a Justin Fields. Matt Eberflus, Brandon Staley. Who would have thought?
Now,
Lightning
this is-
bolts versus the Bears.
So now, I wonder if in this case, the Bears win. And hear me out. Because at some point, if we've used the argument about the Falcon kind of flying away from the storm or flying away from the other thing, the Panther, whatever it's going to be, I think we can say that the Bear could weather the storm because it just goes into hibernation. This is a 3-6 Super Bowl win for the Bears. This is a maybe 3-7 hibernation.
5-3.
Bears by hibernation.
5-3
for
safety.
6-month hibernation or 7.
good. This is a great question, but natural phenomenon.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna Google. Has a bear ever been struck by lightning?
Surely a bear would have been struck by lightning.
I'm going to ask.
Well, until you see it. As a
There's
bear.
no. I don't know how someone would have caught it on film.
It all comes up in Google searches. Attacked by a shark. Struck.
Yeah, but then again, the
By-
charger has to charge up. So how long are we charging it for?
No, it's a lightning bolt.
So it's continuous?
They're not the lightning, are they? They're the fucking Chargers.
Yeah.
Like a Tampa Bay Lightning.
Bear deaths from lightning are uncommon. Right.
Yeah.
So they just got to the Super Bowl by default.
Righto. Chicago wins.
But then again, USA Today, 2013, bear killed by lightning strike.
So,
There we go.
So Chicago are going to win the Super Bowl because it's 2023, not 2013. They are going to be the number one pick potentially,
Well, okay. Well, listen to this.
but they'll win the mascot off.
Listen to this. The record holder for the most amount of survived lightning strikes is 7, and it was a bear.
Okay, game over.
This is a bear that's been struck by lightning apparently 7 times. And
Gold flag on the
survived.
play.
Seriously, it's
That's,
just
I don't know
fucking-
how you validate that, but I guess
The Bears
I
win.
guess the Justin Fields, Matt Eberflus, Chicago Bears win the Super Bowl.
5-3.
I'm sticking with like 6-3 or
9-5.
something like that. 9-5, yeah, potentially.
That was their game last week.
Apparently so. Okay, that's that.
Another good question.
That's the. There was another good question. That is the episode in the bag. So as always, I implore you to leave a comment. I implore you to hit the subscribe button somewhere around this
YouTube,
screen.
Instagram, soon to TikTok as well.
Yeah, we're going to be everywhere. We're trying to be everywhere. If you're an intern and you want to come and help us sort this fucking mess out every week for free, we're not going to pay you. I'm making that super, super clear.
You can catch it touchdown passes off Ev though.
You can touchdown passes off of Evan. He throws a loose spiral. More of a fucking...
Nice 20-yarder,
Flop.
though.
Like
More
Zach
than-
Wilson.
Not in the last game, mate. Anyway, we'll see.
Both great soakers.
Both great soakers. Like, subscribe, use protection, and we'll see you next week.
Toodaloo,
Blue
motherfuckers.
motherfuckers.